So, if you've been using AI, you've probably had that feeling, right? That little spark of magic when it does something amazing, but it's quickly followed by this thought. Is this it? There has to be a more powerful way to do this. Well, the answer is a huge yes, and it's actually way simpler than you might think.
Think about it for a second. When you need to get something done with AI, what's your go-to move? Do you just open up that one single platform you use for, well, everything? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone, but you are missing out on something big.
Because honestly, if you're only using one tool, you're just scratching the surface of what's possible. It's kind of like trying to build a house with only a hammer. The real secret, that exponential leap in power, comes when you stop seeing AI as a single tool and start seeing it as an entire toolkit. And this gets us to what you could call the Swiss Army knife problem. You see, most of us are using these big horizontal tools. They're the Swiss Army knives of AI. And don't get me wrong, they're fantastic for doing a little bit of everything. But when you need to perfectly dice an onion, you don't reach for that tiny corkscrew, right? No way. You grab a chef's knife, a vertical tool, an expert that's built for one specific purpose.
So, how do we get the best of both worlds? The solution is really a new way of thinking. It's about shifting away from relying on that one tool and embracing something way more powerful, a workflow philosophy. It's all about building pipelines.
So, what exactly is an AI workflow? It's not as complicated as it sounds. It's just the process of stacking tools together. You take the output from tool A and you feed it right into tool B as its input. Think of it like a smart assembly line. Each station adds its own specific value, and the final product is way more sophisticated than anything a single tool could ever make on its own. Okay, theory is great and all, but let's see how this actually works. We're going to break down two really powerful real-world workflows that you can literally start using today. First up, we've got a workflow for anyone who deals with data. It's called the Thinker-Doer Framework, and its whole purpose is to get you these unbelievable insights by separating the strategy from the actual number crunching. Here's the breakdown. First, you use a thinker tool, something like ChatGPT or Claude. You give it your data and you tell it to act like a world-class consultant and come up with the most important strategic questions you should be asking. Then you take those brilliant questions and feed them, along with your data, into a doer tool, a specialized data AI like Julius AI. And it does all the heavy lifting, analyzing the data and building out your dashboards. See, the roles here are crystal clear. Your thinker is your strategic partner. It figures out what you need to ask. And your doer is the superpowered analyst that actually finds the answer. It's this incredible combination of broad creative thinking and specialized focused computation. And hey, if you want to get the absolute best results out of that thinker tool, here's a little pro tip for you. Use the magic prompt formula. Just clearly define the AI's role, your main objective, the context for the task, and give it super specific instructions. Trust me, that structure is the key to unlocking some seriously strategic insights. Okay, so that framework is amazing for data. But what if your goal is totally different? Let's say creating a really comprehensive research presentation. For that, we need a different approach. Let's look at the Research Powerhouse workflow. This one's all about getting both breadth and depth. So instead of asking just one tool, you send the exact same research prompt to multiple AIs at the same time to get a wider range of ideas. Then you dump all those different outputs into one tool for synthesis. You ask it to create a presentation structure from that synthesis, and finally, you use a specialized tool to give it that professional, polished look. Now, you want to see a real power move? To take your research from just a simple summary to a truly expert-backed argument, you can use another one of those specialized tools to pull direct quotes from experts in YouTube videos. Then you feed those quotes right into your synthesis step. All of a sudden, your presentation has some serious authority. It's a game changer. So, seeing these examples is cool, but the real goal here is for you to build your own. So how do you actually do it? Let's walk through the blueprint for designing custom workflows that solve your specific problems. It really just boils down to 4 simple principles. First, figure out the biggest bottleneck, the biggest friction point in your current process. Second, go hunt for those chef's knife tools, the experts that are great at solving that one thing. Third, figure out how to connect them so the output of one just flows right into the next. And finally, and this is crucial, you've got to test it in the real world. This right here is the moment where everything we've talked about really clicks. This isn't just about learning some new trick. It's about fundamentally changing how you think about and use artificial intelligence.
So if you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. The real game-changing power doesn't come from finding the one perfect AI tool. It comes from building the perfect pipeline.
And look, the way to start isn't by trying to automate your entire life by tomorrow. It's about starting small. Just find that one task that drives you crazy, the thing that causes you the most friction, and build one simple workflow to solve just that. Master that one, and then you can move on to the next. So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Take a look at your day, your tasks, your biggest challenges. What is the one workflow, the one simple pipeline you could build that would fundamentally change how you work, starting tomorrow?